Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be reviewing the 5th episode of Bleach, 1000-Year Blood War arc, Wrath as Lightning. Ever since the first episode, I've been told that it's going to be the best arc that Bleach has to offer, and up to now, 5 episodes in, I completely agree. The episodes keep getting more and more interesting. There's so much that happened in this episode alone, so let's get right into it and review this episode. First off, to continue with the Byakuya fight that started in the last episode, we finally get the conclusion. It's not necessarily the conclusion that everybody wanted, but we did get a conclusion to an overall very interesting fight. After doing some research, I found out that this Stern Ritter's name is As Not. I'm not really sure how to say it, but that's his name. And basically, I'm going to refer to him as Stern Ritter F. But basically, he ends up using Byakuya's Bankai that he previously stole on Byakuya and Renji, and he ends up just absolutely destroying them. Just destroying them. We also find out that in his little spike things that he shoots, there's, in fact, well, not necessarily a poison. We think it's a poison at first, but it's actually just like fear that's being injected into the person until it's uncontrollable. And it's like so crazy to see Byakuya kind of like lose his cool, for somebody to be like so calm and having mastered the art of fighting without having any fear whatsoever. It's like really weird to see him like lose his composure and actually feel fear. Even the Stern Ritter says this is something that you lost a long time ago. And then we kind of see what he sees, and he sees like Rukia being decomposed and dead, and a couple other things being eaten by bugs. It's really creepy all around. And I really like the Stern Ritter overall. Like, I really like his powers. I really like the fear that he instores in his opponents. We also get the reveal of his voice. We actually get to hear his voice. And his voice, I feel like it fits perfectly. It's so creepy. It's so eerie. It fits perfectly the tone that the guy is giving off. Especially that his whole thing is being fear itself and producing fear in other people and his opponents. It's just so cool to see him actually be portrayed that way. And it's really incredible to see that one of the Stern Ritters was actually able to defeat Byakuya. So R.I.P. Byakuya. I know some people are not going to be happy about that. I'm not happy about it. I really started enjoying Byakuya as a character. But I guess R.I.P. and we'll see what the story has to hold for Byakuya in the future. I will certainly be making a video about Stern Ritter F, because I feel like up to now he's my favorite Stern Ritter for sure. And I will be explaining all of his powers and what he does during the 1000-Year Blood War arc, and just everything that happens during his lifespan. I think it's worth it, because he's a great character up to now, and I feel like I really want to get to know more information about him, so I'm sure that other people do. Another side note, if you want to see the full fight of Byakuya versus Stern Ritter F, if you look on my channel, they're in fact there. If you go through the videos, you scroll, I put them recently, so they're there. After the Byakuya fight is over, with Byakuya's death, we also see Renji and Rukia, who have been defeated by their opponents, which is very sad. Then we see Kenpachi walk up to the Quincy King and basically pull up with like one of his Stern Ritters on his arm and just being like, hey, are you the boss of this guy? These guys suck. Let me fight you. So he just shows up and he's instantly, he just tries to defeat the Quincy King automatically. He goes right after him, which is very funny and very Kenpachi-like. We then get like a quick little montage of Kenpachi basically kicking the 3 Stern Ritters' asses that he fought along the way until he found the strongest person, as he usually does, which is the Quincy King. And then the Quincy King kind of just absolutely kicks his ass, which is kind of sad, but it's also like cool to see. And it was also like inevitable for sure. But it's pretty cool to see Kenpachi back in action, even though it wasn't for like a very long period of time. I think it's pretty cool. He's one of the most underrated characters in my opinion, and we certainly don't see him enough on screen. So I was really happy to see him in this episode, even though the outcome was almost death. We don't see much of Ichigo in this episode. However, we do see him struggle and hear everybody on the phone through the conversation that he was having before he was put in the jail. And he kind of like tries to destroy the jail with his like attacks and stuff. But for right now, he's still stuck in jail. The Stern Ritter that put him in the jail, however, has been killed by we don't know who. You can put your guesses down below in the comments. For my personal guess, I literally have no idea who it could be. Like, I really thought about this, and I was like really close to go read the manga just to go see who it is, but I decided not to. But I like really have no idea. So if you know who it is or you have a guess, let me know and tell me why. But yeah, we basically see Ichigo in his jail cell. He doesn't really do much this whole episode, but like like I said, he's trying to get out, and he kind of sees everything, and he senses everybody like Rukia, Renji, and Byakuya kind of falling, and everybody kind of getting murdered, and he can't really do anything about it. It's kind of getting him even angrier, so he kind of goes harder when attacking the jail cell. And I'm assuming inevitably with the Stern Ritter who just died, that he's going to be able to get out, and we're going to see him get to the Soul Society, of course. Like, that's the whole point. We want to see Ichigo get there. But for right now, yeah, like I said, he's stuck in his cage, and he's kind of pissed off because he can't really help anybody. And you know Ichigo, that's what he wants to do. He wants to help everybody. Then we skip to another fight between Stern Ritter O, which is Stern Ritter Overkill, and one of the lieutenants. The lieutenant is being absolutely destroyed by the Stern Ritter, and the Stern Ritter explains that the more people he kills, the more that he gets stronger, where his overkill comes from. You know, that's kind of the O for overkill. Anyways, he explains that, and then basically, as he's explaining all of his powers to the lieutenant, he also says that when he was here during the first invasion, he killed hundreds of people. And then he said that if his opponent wasn't a lieutenant, it would be a lot easier to fight back. But since he's a lieutenant, he's not strong enough, and he's already killed a lieutenant. And then he said that he's also stolen a Bankai from a lieutenant. So then we kind of put the pieces together, and then we find out that he stole the Bankai from Yamamoto's lieutenant, personal lieutenant guard. The guy that we see die in the first episode, Sasukabe, I believe is his name. I'm not exactly sure. But the guy that we see die in the first episode and who tells everybody that they can steal their Bankais is the person who this Stern Ritter has killed and stolen the Bankai from. So the second after we learn that, he's about to kill the lieutenant with the same attack that killed the other lieutenant from Yamamoto's guard. And then Yamamoto pulls up in a grandiose fashion and just swats the attack away like as if it's nothing. Then after that, the Stern Ritter is so excited. He's so happy. He's like, oh, finally, the head captain, perfect. I'm going to be able to beat you up with the Bankai that I stole from your lieutenant. So then he activates the Bankai, and then we see the Bankai like for the first time, and the other lieutenant also sees the Bankai for the first time, and we see that he can affect the weather around him, and then we find out that it's like the only other Bankai other than Toshiro's Bankai who can do that. And anyways, we see him charge up his Bankai, ready to use it, and he uses it on Yamamoto, and Yamamoto just eats it. He doesn't even do anything. He does nothing. He just eats the attack. He just waits there. And then when he's over with the Bankai, when the guy takes off the attack from Yamamoto, Yamamoto just walks up to him and he's like, wow, I can feel your anger because you didn't perfect your Bankai for it to be this freaking weak. And he just opens his Zanpakuto and he literally just burns the Stern Ritter in one shot. We see his whole body burn in one shot, and he is pissed. He is pissed off. Yamamoto is absolutely pissed off. He just kills him in one shot, and there's so many flames everywhere. And then he goes into this speech where he says that, don't worry about the Soul Society because I'm here and I'm about to kill every single one of the people in this army. Don't even worry about it. It's really cool to see Yamamoto fight, of course. We also, of course, do not get enough of Yamamoto during Bleach. But especially the fact now that he's literally pissed off because he found the guy who killed Sasukabe is just incredible. We see him in action and he just like one-shots the guy without a problem. And I know that in the next episode, he's about to go insane. He's about to go berserk. At the end of this episode, we see that he shows up to see the Quincy King right before he kills Kenpachi. That's the link that happens between those two scenes. The reason Kenpachi doesn't die, and I didn't say it before, is because Yamamoto shows up right before the Quincy King's about to kill him. So then the Quincy King lets go of Kenpachi and just, I'm assuming he's going to start fighting with Yamamoto in the next episode, which I cannot wait to see. I know it's about to break the internet. I just know it's about to be insane. Absolutely insane. I cannot wait for the next episodes. This arc is so good up to now. I cannot wait. We're finally going to see what the Quincy King is capable of against the strongest Soul Reaper there is. So that's certainly a fight that you're not going to want to miss in the next episode. We also see during this episode kind of like a flashback of when Yamamoto was training Sasukabe and basically getting him to use his Bankai and train his Bankai until he mastered it and then perfected it and all that stuff. And it's really heartwarming to see, of course. And all of this happens between the moment that the other Stern Raider activates the Bankai and then Yamamoto kills him. So we kind of get to see like the flashback of their relationship that they had. And it's really touching to see, and it really shows how much of a connection that they had and why Yamamoto is so pissed off. So there you have it, ladies and gents. Let's do just a quick recap of what happened during this episode and maybe what happened from the beginning. Basically, in this episode, Byakuya has now been defeated. He's most likely dead. That's what the episode is giving off as a vibe. Renji, I don't think he's dead, but he got his ass kicked as usual. Rukia also got her ass kicked. Kenpachi also got his ass kicked after kicking some ass, so it's kind of balanced. Also, he got his ass kicked from the Quincy King, so it kind of makes sense, you know. After that, we see Ichigo. Ichigo doesn't do much in this episode, but I'm assuming we're going to see him in like the next couple episodes. Then we see Yamamoto get into action. He kills the guy who killed Lieutenant Sasakabe, and then he just gets pissed off, and then he pulls up to the Quincy King, and he's about to face off. So that's basically what happened during this episode. On the first review of the first episode of Bleach that I did, I got a comment that said that this is in fact the best arc. I asked the guy, do you think that Thousand Year Blood War arc is the best arc? And he said, yes, absolutely. Wait until episode like 8 to 13 and you're going to understand why. And right now we're just at episode 5. And ever since like episode 2, I've known that this arc is absolutely going to be insane. So I can't wait for this story to keep going. So there you have it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.